I beg your pardon? Well, excuse me, Mr. Bradford, but I don't understand why you consider Mr. Reynolds to be more competent than myself. In any case, if you'd like to speak to him, hold on a moment. I'll put you through.
Hey, Mark. How are you? Yeah, I think you upset Anne, our new intern. Oh, she's a fantastic colleague, diligent and hardworking. Yeah, let's set up a meeting so you can meet her. You'll be very impressed. She's also a great cook. In the meantime, I'll send you a detailed outline of the project. Okay, and we'll see each other Tuesday at 10. Okay, right. Bye, Mark.
Well, what a pleasant person he is.
Oh, come on, Anne. Don't let him get to you. Mr. Bradford is just a little shy with those he doesn't know. But you'll see. He's quite a lot of fun once you've met him. Why don't we take a short break?
How about a little fun on the telephone? I need to relax and have a good laugh.
Okay. But who should we call?
I know. Let's call my flatmate Alice. She's always looking for new boyfriends, and you could pretend to be a friend of Jack's, the other flatmate, saying that you saw a picture of her and that you'd love to meet her.
Okay, but she isn't going to get angry with me, is she?
No, we'll tell her it was just a joke.
Hello?
Is that Alice?
This is Gary. And I'm calling because...
Well, I'm a little shy.
And I'm a friend of Jack's, and yesterday he showed me a picture of you. And, well, I think you're pretty cute.
Hello? Could you speak up? The line is terrible.
Yes, I'm also having problems. This line must be congested. My name is Gary, and I'd like to get to know you a little better.
What? Who are you?
I'm a friend of Jack's, and yesterday I saw
A picture of you.
How could that be? What picture?
Don't raise your voice with me.
Me, Alice.
In the picture, there were 3 people. One was Jack, one was an ugly girl, and then a very beautiful lady. And
Jack told me it was you.
hold on while I put you through to a friend of mine who doesn't agree with me about the ugly girl.
Hello? Who's speaking?
This is Alice, and I urgently need to speak with the other guy. I think his name is Gary.
I'm afraid I can't hear you. Could you speak up?
I said I urgently need to speak with Gary.
Oh, I'm afraid Gary's very busy at the moment. If you'd like an appointment, I can fit you in the beginning of next month.
What? You are joking, aren't you? I told you I need to speak with him immediately.
Alice!
It's Anne.
It's a joke. And you fell for it completely.
Anne, you scared the hell out of me. What a stupid joke.
Okay, maybe it was a stupid joke, but you bought it hook, line and sinker.
So now let's study some of the language that you need on the telephone at work. But first, some basic vocabulary related to phones. Now, what's this? This in English is called a land phone, okay? A land phone. But this one here, which you detach, is called a cordless or a portable, all right? Cordless. Now, this instrument here is called the receiver. And this action is picking up, to pick up the receiver. Then we, 2, 4, 7, 5, 6, 7, 7, dial the number or digit the number, all right? Then we put the receiver down. We put the receiver down, or another verb that we use in English is to hang up. And that's more familiar, but it's very popular, to hang up. This type of phone, what do we call it? It's a mobile or even a cell. And in Germany, they actually call it a handy because you can hold it in your hand. So, a mobile. Now, these phones work on batteries, so you need these to keep them running. This is a battery recharger, all right? Sometimes you don't want to listen to the speaker on the phone with it by your ear, so you can use these. These are earphones or headphones, all right? Sometimes you need to know the number of somebody, so you can look in this book, which is called a telephone directory. And if you want special services, you can use a book called the Yellow Pages. All right, so that's some of the basic language related to telephones. Now, we want to learn some phrases which are useful for you when you start a telephone conversation. And yet, let's now use the screen, which will help you understand and use that language. The first thing you do is you answer. So what do we say when we answer? Well, we can say this. Hello, Pilgrim Publishing House. This is Louise. Can I help you? All right. So look at the screen. You say the name of the company. This is Pilgrim Publishing House. Your name. This is Louise. How can I help you? Or can I help you? Notice I said this is Louise, not I am Louise, because this is the language we use on the telephone in English. So this is, not I am. So you introduce yourself. You say, hello, this is James Holmes, for example. Notice again, I say this is. You don't say I am. Now, if the other person doesn't know you, you can say, I was given your name by Mr. Smith, for example, all right? I was given your name by Mr. Smith. Great. Now, you want to speak to someone, so you ask, hello, could I speak to, may I speak to, can I speak to? 3 possibilities. Could, may, very polite. Can, less formal. So, can I speak to Mr. James, please? Now, if he is in another office, you can ask for his extension number. So you can say, could I have extension 573, please? Extension 573. Another thing is you can ask to be connected. And in English, the verb is, could you put me through to Mr. James? Could you put me through to, that means connect, Mr. James, all right? You can also say, I'd like to speak to Mr. James. There. The next thing is asking for people to wait because you have to connect. You can say, just a minute, just a moment, please, 1 moment, please, hold the line, please, hold on, please. Hang on is more informal. So you see, there are many ways of waiting for time passing. Then the next important thing is when you make a telephone call, sometimes you need to check that it's convenient, especially on mobile phones, because people answer when they're walking in the street, etc. So it's good to say, is this a bad time? Or am I disturbing you? You see on the screen, is this a bad time? Am I disturbing you? Can you talk? Because that way you know that it's convenient for you to speak to that person. That's important. And one more thing is maybe you want to leave a message. So you could say, can you take a message, please? Or can I leave a message? And then you could say, could you tell him that I called? Could you tell him I called? And a little bit more complicated, could you get him to call me back on 75396? Can you get him to call me back on, and then the number? All right? That's a lot. Lots of interesting phrases, but they are all very important. So you need to learn them by heart so they're here when you pick up the phone. All right? That's the end of this lesson, but we will be doing more on telephoning later. So, bye for now.
Victoria Lee, good morning. Do you remember me?
Yes, certainly. And to what do I owe the pleasure of your unexpected visit?
Beautiful office. My compliments. You've certainly come a long way, haven't you?
Well, I can't complain. If you don't mind, I've got quite a lot to do.
You didn't feel that way a year ago when we first met.
Listen, Mrs. Baker, that was a very difficult period for me. I wasn't happy with my job and...
Don't worry, Lee. I'm not here to visit the past, but rather to talk about the future.
What?
I've recently heard quite a bit about you. I know that you've done great things to improve the bottom line of Spectra. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm here today. I'd like you to come and work for us.
Thank you, Mrs. Baker, but...
Just a moment, Lee. Let me have my say. If you came to work for us, you'd not only have the opportunity to work for a successful company, but you'd also have a brilliant career with full satisfaction ahead of you.
I'm flattered, but as I said, I'm very pleased with my present employment.
If I were to propose a position as business development manager, would you consider my offer?
Mrs. Baker, please, if I were to come and work for you, I'd be doing my company a disservice.
Just think it over, Lee. If you accept, you'll get a much higher salary than your current one. Of course, I forgot to mention the company car and mobile phone, not to mention an impressive percentage of sales.
That's enough, Mrs. Baker. Your offer is very tempting, and if I were free, I would certainly accept. However, things have changed greatly. I am very satisfied with my job here.
Mrs. Lee, I've brought you this brochure. I was just,
Fine, I'll leave. Mrs. Lee, just think about what I said. I'll be in touch.
Hi, Anne. Have you got a moment? I just have to show you a few things.
Alice, how many times have I told you to call before you come and visit me at the office? If my boss finds out, I'll be in trouble.
Oh, yes, I know. You're right. I'm sorry. Anyway, you are on your coffee break, and I just need some advice. I'm going out with Philip tonight. You know, the handsome guy I met at the library last week.
Oh,
I told you about him, didn't I?
I don't know, Alice. I've lost count. Every week there's a different guy. And what's so important about him that you couldn't wait to see me?
What if I wear this tonight?
It's nice. Red suits you.
Really? But if I wear this, I'll have to find the right black shawl. By the way, can you lend me the one you bought last Saturday?
Alice, it's brand new. I haven't even worn it yet.
Come on, Anne. I told you that this date is really important to me. Okay. What if I wore this one?
That's pretty too.
Yes, but if I wear this one, it would go better with your blue hat. Could you lend it to me?
Oh.
Please, Anne.
Oh, Alice, no, not that one. It was a present from my sister. Oh. I'm very attached to it.
Oh, please, Anne. Come on, help me, please.
Okay, it's impossible to pick you out of anything anyway. But if I'd known you were going to borrow my entire wardrobe, I would have immediately told you I was very busy.
Thanks, Anne. You're the best.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going now. By the way, what would you say if I told you I had broken your camera?
You'd done what?
Oh, come on, Anne. I'm joking. Oh, I think work is making you just a little bit too nervous. Bye.
So now let's talk about the conditionals in English, the first and the second. Now, they're interesting because there's a difference in meaning between the first and the second, and also a difference in grammar. The first one we use in situations which are really possible, but the second conditional we use in situations which are more improbable. And I want to look at some examples of that now. You imagine that you work for a large insurance company and you have to explain some situations to a client. Obviously, you're trying to sell the idea of them having an insurance policy. Let's look at the board and look at some of the situations. Now, in the first situation, an accident. Now, if you have an accident, and you don't have insurance cover, what happens? If you have an accident, you won't be covered for legal expenses. Now that's a problem. The first conditional is grammatically formed like this: if plus the present tense and then the future will or won't in the negative. Let's look at another example. You see, number 2 is accident, stop work.